halfway through the first season in the 2026 Motorsports UK Esports calendar. The Cross Car Cup Esports Cup has delivered, and now we head to Hell-Lankenbanen, originally an asphalt track, but now known for some rallycross madness as our drivers compete to go from sim to reality in what is a wild and raucous machine. Hi folks, Arjuna Kankipati joined alongside once again by Peter Mackay as we head into the back half of our championship season. Coming off an interesting championship round at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. A couple of things from race control changing the equation for some of our drivers. Peter, heading into the second half of our season, all heading to the tight and twisty Knock Hill to settle our championship.
Yeah, last week was where it all turned around at Barcelona with a great round for Ben Langford, shooting him into the lead of the championship, and also Graham Carroll losing the lead of that championship as well. It was all go in Barcelona, and here in Hell, well, they could switch back and forth again.
As you said, Ben Langford, 2 victories on the bounce, see him slot to the front of the championship standings. Lewis Woods behind Graham Carroll, with Tom Monheim putting the qualifying exclusion behind him pretty well at Barcelona and fighting up through the points. Top 10 on your screen, but remember, we've got a field of 19 ready to go tonight and split across what should be 3 heat races. 4 drivers to advance from each of them, and those that fail to make the cut initially, Peter, head to what has already been a set of physical last chance qualifier races to open up this season.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've seen how important qualifying has been. Just 3 laps in lone qualifying, and if you don't get that good grid position for your heat, you're likely going to go through the last chance qualifier. And of course, even if you get through that, you've not got a good grid spot in the final. So qualifying is vital.
All building up to those final 10 laps as our drivers compete for the opportunity to jump from sim to reality, courtesy of Live Live UK. The winner of the championship will receive a test and race and a round of the Motorsports UK Cross Car Championship at Liddon Hill, end of July. Winner will receive everything required. That requires not just the car, the equipment, insurance license, and a set of new tires courtesy of Waltham Services. Peter, it's going to be really exciting, and already I think Ben Langford, with some momentum on his side, will be thinking, what do I need to do in these next couple of rounds to make my life easy, headed to Knock Hill to have that championship and prize locked up.
It's a huge prize, and there's so many drivers in this field that would love that opportunity to get behind the wheel of a real FIA Cross Car at the birthplace of rallycross, full stop, at Liddon Hill. Doesn't get a great deal better. And as she said, it's an overall package where you just have to get yourself there and you can go and race.
Sounds like a lot of fun in a machine that's small, nimble, lightweight, but plenty of power to carry it around the circuit. David Haynes and Carl Morby are the final couple of drivers on track in qualifying, albeit just getting some practice laps now under their belt. 3 qualifying attempts already done and dusted. Say, rather interesting layout as you work your way up through turn 1. I'm going to have to break out the yellow pen tool if I can here, Peter. It's always a little bit easier to do that. You've got the Joker lap up around here, and this is where they merge the regular racing line and the Joker lap. Always interesting, and unlike last week, you can take it first time by off to the left up to the Joker.
You've got all the toys today, Arjuna. I like that. A little bit of pen drawing on the screen there. Yes, it perfectly illustrated. Yeah, that we've seen where to run the Joker has been really important in the outcome of many of the heats and finals. So yeah, just depending how the start goes, really critical that you get that right to make sure that the strategy is just perfect.
So you can see Ben Langford on top once again in qualifying. Although for the first time in qualifying, on top plenty in the racing itself. Only 57 thousandths back to Leo Brown. Lewis Woods then third, where it's been quite a bit. That seems to be where the Falcon colours, the Door Esports driver, slots himself in. Tom Monheim is back in the qualifying queue, 4th in front of race 1 winner Graham Carroll, and our top 5 split by just 0.2 of a second. And I think with 19 today, just waiting for final confirmation, but we should end up seeing the full 3 heats. Last week we were chopped down to just 2, courtesy of a slightly smaller grid. But back up in terms of numbers today, and so yes, indeed, it will be 3 heats of racing. Ben Langford, Tom Monheima split the front row with Noah Osbaldiston and Austin Jones behind them. David Haynes, Ryan Stringer in front of Nathan Williams, who had a qualifying exclusion of his own after, well, qualifying shenanigans a week ago. I'll line up 2 by 2, and Peter, they'll wait for the lights to come up, and off and away they'll go. Those on the left side of the track in a natural position to take to the Joker first time by.
It is, yeah, this is one of the great parts of rallycross racing is that initial launch, that rush down to the first corner. Getting that right is so important. The nerves will be high. Starter's order was being given.
Oh, what a noise it is as our cross cars get released for the first time tonight. Who on the left side of the track will take to the Joker? 2 of our blue machines, including Nathan Williams, but Langford challenged by Osbaldiston as they'll descend down onto the tarmac and slide down the hill into the bottom of the facility. 4 cars now running their way through. Remember, 4 cars to make their way forward at the end of this heat.
Yeah, that's the key thing. Oh, big wreck. Big wreck as they twirl around it in the early part as Tom Monimus has now dropped down the order after that one. Ben Langford, championship leader, involved as well, Arjuna.
And I think that was just a little bit too greedy and aggressive down at the bottom of the hill. And as we end lap 1, Austin Michael Jones will lead. Gold illuminates on the left for those that have taken to the Joker. And the 98 responds. Langford stays on the regular racing surface, at least for the time being. 8-lap heat races are going to fly through. Williams on the merge with Monheima, a little bit uncomfortable, and Monheima disappears, and that's going to be even more awkward for those behind the wheel.
Yeah, Monheima seems to be grappling with some connection issues with his internet, so that's not good. That can sometimes be terminal to take you out of the race entirely, but it's Noah Osbaldiston who leads. Brilliant start to him for the number 24 car with Austin Michael Jones right in behind in the orange machine. And there we go. There's the split on the Joker. Austin Michael Jones thinking, right, let's get this out of the way and get into a nice groove. Got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but shouldn't get too held up. I think he's got a nice little gap there so he can put in some hot laps. And hopefully when everyone else has taken their Joker, he'll come out in those top 4 spots.
And so now that it's hopefully settled down slightly, let's grab a look at the replay. Down the hill, bottom of the track for the first time. And so Langford goes wide, actually. And then as there's a calamity of errors behind him as well, it all just sets off a concertina of madness.
Yeah, I don't think the drivers behind him were expecting him to kind of get checked up like that. As he hits the brakes, that because it's all loose down there, and yeah, it's just one big giant misunderstanding, I would say.
It is a time lost, the Joker, and so for Osbaldiston and for Langford, they know they've still got to give up the time. Estimate in these nimble machines, you can hopefully bleed off minimal speed, hooking the right-hander at the top of the Joker arc. It may only be about a 2.5 second loss if you execute your marks and are able to run properly on board with Langford. Halfway through the heat, saving that Joker for a bit later on as he closes up to the point of the field.
It's quite a recovery drive here from Ben Langford. He was over 2.5 seconds off the lead, and he's now just over half a second off the lead, so he's really getting himself back in the mix after that early calamity early on in the opening lap. Big slips and slides from these little life cross cars. Hit to the wall there, unfortunately.
Riding on board with Michael Jones. I'm wondering if that's also just a moment with the technical issues for Monheima. Hard to really judge what's happening for him. I'm sure it's a much different story to what we're getting right now. This fight, though, could really be the boon for Osbaldiston and for Langford. More contact there as Williams rides over the right rear of Michael Jones in that bright orange machine, but Last lap alone, they lost 7/8 of a second to the top two, who are now split by just a couple of car lengths. And as they continue to fight behind, if I'm one of these two, I'm thinking, I want a Joker, relieve the pressure.
I think if you're Ben Langford, you go for the Joker right now to get out of the traffic here effectively. Or if if Osbaldiston goes to the Joker thinking, yes, quickly nip to the right and now get some clean air, because clearly Ben Langford over a single lap is much quicker than the rest right now, the championship leader. So he's taken this strategy really, really well, I would say, and looking good. Might even grab a heat win here despite that little bit of a calamity, the 360 at the start of the race. In fact, it'd be a bit of a Danny Sullivan, wouldn't it? Spinning the win.
He's got the pace for it. We're riding with Ryan Stringer, who's on the bottom right of your screen. Noah Osbaldiston, bottom left, has got a mirror. That would distract me, but that's just the ADHD part of my brain. White flag wave, so no option but for Ben Langford to head to the Joker, and he's made a mess of it. Oh no! Well, the spin in the win was on until he slightly got himself off kilter, and he drops into third, hoping now he'll avoid any slowdown. Behind him, Nathan Williams, from qualifying exclusion to fighting into the main event at the first time of asking. Can never say never in this form of short racing. It's what makes it so exciting. And at the front of the field, after a quite calamitous race for some others, Noah Osbaldiston holds on to the Heat 1 victory.
Yeah, 5th place in the championship. Noah Osbaldiston can't quite believe it there. He's thinking, well, that went better than expected. But Ben Langford, a very messy heat, and yet still makes the transfer through. But will start no better than 6th on the grid for the final.
So that will be interesting as confirmation of the results. Top 4 move forward. Michael Jones, Amon Hamus, and David Haynes with some work to do in the sole LCQ that we have. Who will join them? Leo Brown, Graham Carroll, Carl Morby, and Oliver Stone are inside of the cut line as it starts, but Aidan Carter and Archie Moulton, the only 2 drivers that will start outside the bubble and having to fight their way in. Of course, only Ben Langford and Graham Carroll have won races, main event races this season. Is that going to continue as our drivers once more sing the songs of cross cars? And a good start from Carroll in the bright purple machine. He will not go Joker surely. He will run the racing line. No one takes to the Joker. First time of asking. We've got 8 laps with which to do so, and clearly they all feel plenty of time to do so. Archie Moulton in the red, a little bit off kilter behind Oliver Stone, and now as he fights down the hill with Aidan Carter, hip check and into the wall.
Oh, and a dead stop into the wall. That is, really, really nasty one there. Archie Moulton out of the race before it's even got going, and it was a pretty aggressive hip check there. He will not be happy.
What that does really mean, though, is now just one driver still left on track will miss out. And so 7 more laps to go. Anyone jokering? Second time by. Looks like Oliver Stone, followed in by Aidan Carter.
So wanting to get it out the way early. Graham Carroll, though, wanting to get the grip back on this championship. Started off so well and trailing by 10 points after last week's race at Barcelona, where it really didn't go well at all. Had a bad heat, and that just put him on the back foot from the get-go, but looks much more in control now, really opening up a big gap early on. 1.3 seconds after just 2 laps. Fantastic stuff there from Graham Carroll.
Carl Morby a little bit wide out through the final corner. I think, Leo Brown feels like he's got no choice but to head off to the Joker. A little bit wide, but able to put the power down nicely, straighten the car up, and emerge just in front of Oliver Stone, of course, having already jokered. And now a lap or so before we'll find out if Kyle Morby wants to respond. And given where Brown slotted in relative to Stone, I think Morby will feel the need to respond first time by.
Maybe, I might want to cover him off and see how they match up. Many of our drivers using a formula-style wheel like you'd see in a single-seater or even a sports car nowadays. More like a yoke than a wheel, and a lot of them using it in this contest, and it seems to be working very well. I would think you would need a round steering wheel like the real car has, but these drivers know a lot better than I do.
You say that, but Bobby Zelensky, I'm pretty sure, not only ran the Formula-style wheel in eNASCAR iRacing competition, but also in the Rallycross era back in the day. Bobby, one of the few drivers that's raced in, I think, all 4 disciplines of iRacing Pro Series competition. Always have to remind myself, it's now the Pro Series, no longer the World Championships. Still no joker as we reach the halfway mark from Carroll or Morby. As much as Carroll's pace is impressing, Morby has been able to hold station, and Leo Brown's still 3.7 odd seconds behind. I think Morby's in a very good spot to hold on to second. Nice slide, a little bit wide off the apex, but nice and tidy in that 19.
They're looking very neat and tidy, and it's difficult to keep neat and tidy on a mixed surface where you're on the blacktop and then onto the gravel and back again, reading that grip all the time, and also seeing how the surface is evolving with every car that goes through. Graham Carroll, he's on a march, but I think with just 1.3 seconds of gap behind him to Kyle Morby, who of course has not taken the joker either, I think you've got to just see it out to the end. You don't want to be caught out behind somebody. I think you keep lapping away nicely and take that joker late and hopefully get a heat win and go into the final with a really good grid position. And of course his main championship rival, or one of them at least, Ben Langford, well, he's going to be starting a little bit deeper in the pack.
Good point. The fact that Graham Carroll winning this heat could start on the outside of the front row. Decides to joker on the penultimate lap. Does Morby follow? No. And so will momentarily have the lead of this race. Graham Carroll slots into the gap between Brown and Morby. And now just wait to see Carl Morby off to the joker. It's going to be close between him and Leo Brown. Precision required. He's using all the track on offer.
That he is. Yeah, he's really pushing. It's amazing how much corner speed these little cross cars can carry, but they're so light. 345 kilos they weigh. I mean, it's about 150 kilos less than a Caterham. It's not a great deal heavier than a MotoGP bike, which is remarkable, actually, just how light they are and how good the power to weight is.
On the merge, not that close. Morby in front. Leo Brown digs the left rear into the gravel and over-rotates the car. Although that seemed to be the strategy. Great exit. Almost like a rocket off the corner. They're fighting for second now in what will be a starting spot in fifth in the main event. And as they squabble up front, Graham Carroll, championship leader after round one, back on top in heat number 2.
That's more like it for Graham Carroll. Puts himself in a great spot for the final. Starting on that front row, absolutely critical at this level where all of the drivers are so strong and it's difficult to overtake. So that's really, really good from the Scotsman.
3/10 the gap between Brown and Morby at the end. It was oh so tight between them. One final heat on the night to go. And Lewis Woods, for the second time this season, will be in pole position, I think, for Heat 3. Charlie Devlin alongside with Louis Johnson and Luca Brooks splitting row 2. Stanley Rolfe, Callum Newton at the tail end of the field, and once more 6 will enter and only 4 move forward. Everyone else has a chance to go through the LCQ, and all these drivers have had the benefit of watching and learning from the previous couple of races so far. Have they learnt anything important? Well, it's eyes to the lights for the final heat of the night. Good jump from the inside as Lewis Woods holds on. Fight behind, we'll see Charlie Devlin pressured. And once again, Peter, no one off to the joker.
No, nobody's taking it early on, are they? And Lewis Woods making his way through early in that Falcon Sim racing machine. They had a great event at the weekend in the digital Nürburgring Langstrecken series in their BMW. Couldn't be more different this, but hopefully be looking for the same result.
I wonder what similarities you can bring from the two. Look at someone like Mitchell de Jong, also successful in that sort of racing and here in the virtual and real worlds of dirt racing as well. That one complete. Anyone joker second time by? No, again, all stations held for the time being. Only a couple of swaps of positions. Luca Brooks has dropped back to 6th. Callum Newton in turn up to 4th. And Louis Johnson, Charlie Devlin swapping 2nd and 3rd, although that's where the closest fight is right now, and side by side as they work up the hill.
Lewis who leads then by 1.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Devlin and Louis Johnson are battling over that 2nd position. Oh, a little bit wide there for Johnson in the red machine. The number 25. Now, any early takers for the Joker? Not in the top 3 at least. Make that the top 4. So they are wanting to solidify their position, you would think. Now, just trying to get the head down, get into a rhythm. And unless they get held up in front, you probably want to leave that Joker a little bit later on.
It does seem as though they've all stretched themselves out into pace. Rolf and Brooks, only 2 having jokered, but still close enough to Newton to jump. Devlin a little uncomfortably close to the wall, but gets it turned in time, tipped into the corner. Now only 1.3 seconds off the back of Lewis Woods, who, despite being a bit more of a endurance racing specialist, some may argue, well, he's still got plenty of I-rating. 4,586 on the dirt road. Callum Newton has jokered. Louis Johnson, I don't think has jokered, just something's gone wrong for him down at turn 2.
Yeah, that is more than a Joker's problem there for Callum Newton. It's a pity. Let's see what happened to him in that, and Louis Johnson, sorry, in that number 25. Oh, it's a little bit of a spin, unfortunately. But that's the problem in this type of racing. If you make an error, it's so punishing because you just don't have the laps to make it back up again.
No, it just looked like weight transfer there, potentially. Sat down as he put some power down, and it gripped and hooked and span around. 1.2 still the gap at the front as Charlie Devlin continues to try and close up to the Falcon colours. Great to see that there'll still be at least one Falcon GT3 machine at the Nordschleife this year, albeit now to be joined by a Dunlop liveried machine, which doesn't sound as cool right now. Give it 30 years, Peter, and we'll have to revisit this conversation.
Well, Dunlop are the only brand within the last 10 years at the Nürburgring 24 to win other than Michelin. So maybe they can rekindle some of that magic. So it's, Falcon. I'd love to see Falcon get a win overall. They've put such an effort into racing at the Nürburgring. I think it would be great to see, and great to see them putting their effort behind sim racing as well. And Lewis Woods in that Falcon racing machine right now, driving beautifully. And now he's going to go to the Joker. Now what will Charlie Devlin do? Will he, Charlie Devlin going to go, right, I'm going to lead for a little while and see how we get on. Now he did close on that last lap, did Devlin, so don't count him out in this battle. Behind Luca Brooks, only a second off of Stanley Rolfe. Newton has slipped in front of Johnson, but those are 2 drivers who are destined for the last chance qualifier, it would seem, and that's coming up in just a lap's time, let's not forget. So Charlie Devlin, left of your screen. Lewis Woods on the bottom right. It's a much more Elvin Evans style seating position for Lewis Woods. Proper round steering wheel as well as he takes to the Joker, and we jump on board. There's the Falcon tire machine. And the margin's still a full second. We're talking small margins after 8 laps here. That's my kind of driving position as well. Wheel up close to your chest, working it back and forward, round wheel. Yeah, rally style. That's what I like. Oh, so close. Oh, the rub of the wall. Oh dear.
Well, I've done that my fair few times as well. Charlie Devlin pushing for every little bit that he can find, but once again, pole sitter in Heat 3 for Lewis Woods. He converts to race win in Heat 3 and advances with Devlin, Rolfe and Brooks. And now just the LCQs to come. And what drama awaits for us.
Very, very professional drive there from ominous, I'd say, for the final. But how will he match up beside Graham Carroll and Ben Langford? They're the top 3 in the championship for a good reason.
There's a look at the results. Big margin through the field, actually, all things considered. but maybe a sign of, like Peter was just mentioning, professionalism through the field, making its part known as well. So, of these drivers, 3 will move forward. So Michael Jones, Carter Johnson, they sit in the hot seat. Tom Monhamis, Archie Moulton, Callum Newton, David Haynes, the drivers trying to slot their way forward. Remember, championship points only paid out when we go racing for the final time tonight. Other thing to remember, couple more laps thrown on the board. It's now 10 laps of racing, Peter, instead of just 8.
Chance, if things do go wrong early, you've got a little bit more time to fight back, but let's see who can do it over this longer distance.
Oh, and one driver's gone early. Archie Moulton will definitely not advance. One driver's gone nowhere. That's David Haynes. Complete contrast there off the line. Off to the Joker will be one driver following Moulton. Louis Johnson is now going to lead alongside of Austin Michael Jones, though, as they descend down to the bottom of the track. Oh, big drama, and that really now changes the complexion of this race.
Well, it does indeed, doesn't it? Yeah, that's so frustrating to have that happen early, because that's a bit of a ruiner of the race, isn't it? And only 3 going through out of 7. So you've got to get on that train early. You've got to get away with the leaders, and Austin Michael Jones leading that pack at the moment.
Anyone to the Joker, I think that's Monhamis, who again is having a couple of technical issues. He turned in a bit early there. That really compromised him. I think this is one of those rounds where it's damage limitation. You're not thinking about maximizing your championship points. Instead, minimize the points that you lose, so those you're fighting.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Archie Moulton has gone through the Joker lane, but of course that jump start going to put him quite far down, unfortunately. In fact, looks like he's going to be out the race. Oh dear.
Aiden Carter overcommits. I don't think he was trying to enter the Joker, but now he's got no choice. Off to the Joker he goes.
Yeah, well, yeah, decision made after that one, unfortunately. But the leaders, like we've seen throughout the heats, they're deciding to keep that Joker up their sleeve till a little bit later on, till things have settled out a little bit. Oh my word.
I take
the
back
closing
that.
speed there.
Well,
the throttle stick on.
No, I think that's just the difference between Joker entry and going through turn 1. And once more from up above, let's slow it down. It's not quite gratuitous slow motion, but you'll see one car turning right, the other trying to go straight.
There's a huge closing speed there. Easy to misjudge it. That could have been a big wreck.
This is a better camera angle. Be amazed if there's not lasting damage on either of the machines. Louis Johnson seemingly has lost some ground, now 2 seconds off of David Haynes. And remembering that 3 drivers advance, with Johnson having jokered. Michael Jones responding now, just Haynes to follow. These could be the 3 to move forward as we will hit the halfway mark next time by in this LCQ.
Yeah, they could be. They could be. They're looking strong at the moment. A bit of a gap back to between Louis Johnson and Callum Newton. Of course, Louis Johnson has taken the Joker as well. David Haynes didn't have the best of heats, really, did he? But he's had a great last chance qualifier now as we hit the half race point, and looking strong, should be able to take his Joker fairly safely, you would think.
Yeah. By the way, word from race control. Monhamis, with those technical issues, asked to pull off the track and avoid causing any other drama, especially knowing what's on the line championship prize-wise. You can understand why that decision was made. I'm sure Tom, a little bit frustrated that no fault of his own. Some points will be lost, but that's racing. In the real world, it's not technical issues like internet that always cause an issue, although having said that, last year we lost a couple of hours of the Nürburgring 24. Why? Because of a power outage, Peter.
Yeah, that's, we had that in our team at Bathurst, a power outage which cost us a little bit of time. it wasn't the only delay, shall we say, in our progress.
You know, Lewis McLeod will be very proud that I share right now that he's once done a race, shared this accomplishment with Max Verstappen, as he said to no end on iRacing broadcast. Once did the Bathurst 12 hours with 0 incident points, Peter.
That is impressive.
It's pretty impressive, although not as impressive when you've heard it for about the 50th time.
True.
2 laps to go. I think we're pretty settled at this point. Michael Jones, Johnson, Haynes to move forward. After this, Peter, we do get a week off, and then championship action returns at Daytona, which will be a really interesting round to set up, of course, our trip to your neck of the woods, Knockhill, to round out the championship.
Yeah, that's an amazing rallycross layout. It's less well known, but when you get onto the dirt section, it's very narrow and very fast.
Have you ever had the chance to get a ride around that track, I guess?
Not at speed, in a pickup truck.
Oh, see, that sounds just as fun though in so many different ways.
Yeah, I wasn't driving.
Were you in the back of it?
To be driving, yes.
Who was driving? Was it Duncan Vincent?
No, not Duncan Vincent. No. He wouldn't do anything so silly.
It's so silly. I was going to say so fun. It's neither here nor there. 1 lap left to go. We'll have 10 more laps in our main event. 15 drivers, the most that you throw on track at any point in time. And already seeing that bit of chaos here and there. These drivers doing a good job to survive, Peter, and hold on with relatively unscathed machines.
Yeah, relatively speaking, Austin Michael Jones looking good for an LCQ win. It will be starting from 9th on the grid though, so work to do in the final to score some good points.
Rounds his way out through the final section. And Austin Michael Jones, LCQ winner. Camera's frozen, and I think he realized this job's still far from done, although momentarily can take the headphones off and relax for a little bit.
Yeah, just a little rest before going into the final and hoping to make some moves forward and get a strong result to keep his championship campaign going.
So we had 12 drivers advance from the heat races. 3 now join them from the LCQ. We'll get a brief warm-up stretch effectively for the drivers who have been waiting on the sidelines to get acclimatized to the track once more. But confirmation, Michael Jones, Johnson and Haynes move forward. Aidan Carter, Callum Newton, Tom Monhamis and Archie Moulton done. And now with a week off, a chance to regroup and really attack those final 2 rounds of the championship, which of course should be very, very interesting. A trip to the World Centre of Racing, which unfortunately, Peter, you and I will not be available to watch and call all the action for. We'll be at one of the other great tracks in Florida and slightly preoccupied at the time.
We will, yes. Unfortunately, we'll be at Sebring International Raceway at that point. So yeah, don't worry though, there'll be very capable hands brought in.
Voices, as it were. You never know, we might find a way to sneak our way in still somehow. If there isn't a session on track, you never know. Although the problem with Sebring is just the track internet, Peter. It's not very good. At least last time I was there, it wasn't very good.
And there will be cars on track as well at all times too.
See, for me, my job's a lot simpler. You've got some extra series to cover. So you'll be a bit busier than me. Oh no, I lied, because we had Mustang Challenge that week.
Yeah, just wait and see.
Oh, yeah. I remember how busy Patila Mall week was, although that was a lot of fun. And then Knockhill to close out the season, remembering that, of course, the championship prize, an opportunity to head to Liddon Hill. Such a historic track, but I think, Peter, these drivers would drive a cross car around a parking lot if you gave them the opportunity. It's just extra special. They get to go to a place like Liddon Hill.
Yeah, I think that's the the mecca really of rallycross. That's where it was born. That was where Vic Elford won the first ever rallycross race in a Porsche 911. So a car that actually was a dealer demonstrator. It couldn't then be used as a demonstrator after that, so Vic used it to win saloon car races with after that.
It's not bad. Although you say it couldn't be used, most demonstrators do end up living a rather interesting life, is one way of phrasing it. Look from up above, you can see a bit of track evolution. I'm going to break out my yellow pen again. Some of the dirt being washed off the regular racing surface, but big change from round one, Peter, where it was effectively more of a tarmac groove dug into the dirt. These drivers still sliding the cross cars around certain parts of the track.
Yeah, it's amazing how it just develops over the whole of the event, and the drivers are going to read that and see where the grip is, where they need to place the car, which may change as each race goes by. And I'd say that, yeah, the warm-up session is quite important to see how the track has evolved and they know what to expect going into the final, where, of course, all of the big points are paid out.
I'm quite excited. Not only do we have this Cross Car Esports Cup today, but more heat racing to come later tonight on RaceSpotTV. We are in dirt racing nirvana today on Wild Wednesday. Ready to go for the main event. Here's how they'll line up. Noah's Balderston at the front of the queue, and with all eyes on him, Graham Carroll on the outside of the front row, Lewis Woods and Ryan Stringer then split row 2 with Leo Brown, Charlie Devlin, Ben Langford and Carl Morby. Stanley Rolfe, Nathan Williams, Oliver Stone and Luca Brooks, the cars that advanced from the heat races. Ben Langford, championship leader, some work for him to do. Michael Jones, Louis Johnson and David Haynes are 3 drivers that made it through from the LCQ, have got it all to do at the tail end of the field. They are already stacked up and ready to go for the final time tonight. Let's send them at Hell Lunkenbannen. Graham Carroll, another good launch. He's figured out how to get this car off the line, and he'll chop the nose off of Balderston as they run up to turn 1. Lewis Woods instantly off to the Joker, and I think followed through by either Charlie Devlin or Nathan Williams and maybe David Haynes as well. But as they slide down through the tarmac section and onto the gravel once more, it's Graham Carroll, round 1 winner, that leads.
Oh, there's a big pile-up, huge pile-up here. Several cars involved, cars on the roof and all sorts. One car flips back and lands on the wheels. And meanwhile, Graham Carroll is like, see you later, I am out of here. And was it Ben Langford who was involved?
He was. Good eye. Oh, he's down in 14th position through all of that. It was Charlie Devlin, I believe, that did not Joker. We'll wait for it to update on the left side of the screen. It was Stanley Rolfe instead that joined Lewis Woods. A whole handful more rejoined. The replay is going to tell us a whole lot more about that one. But Ben Langford, back-to-back wins, not looking likely to repeat that here.
Hugely unlikely and unlikely to hang on to the championship lead from where he is right now. And he got fairly aggressive going up the inside there and then gets hit from behind, and to be fair, there's a car spun across in his path. There's nowhere he can go, and then he gets flipped over and lands back on his wheels somehow. So there you go. Quite aggressive through, but then no harm, no foul. But then it all just kicked off ahead of him. There you go. And then everyone piles in on top like a rugby scrum. Oh my word.
Well, and he did indeed go for a bit of a ride, but somehow twists and contort himself to land on almost, not quite perfectly on all 4 wheels. If it was the Olympics, he's not getting a 10 on the landing, but everything else there was not bad. Lewis Woods, having jokered, is now in 6th position. I'm not sure this has really worked out the way that he wanted, with the level of chaos that he then was dropped into. No clean air advantage from jokering on the opening lap. Nathan Williams is in a great spot, though, after being excluded from qualifying. Now behind Oliver Stone, another driver that had a great launch in the Altitude Freem Esports machine, but we ride with Williams.
4th place, no joker yet, as are the rest of the top 5. Yeah, that's an interesting one from Lewis Woods. He's, if you like, the leading driver on the alternative strategy, if you like, the early joker takers. Now the rest you would think will hang on to a little bit later in the event, in this race, to take their joker. Particularly Graham Carroll right now, he's in dreamland, 2.2 seconds ahead of Charlie Devlin for the lead, and Lewis Woods down, you know, where's he going to slot in? Depends, and this could be a very, very good result for Graham Carroll if he can keep going here with no mistakes.
Well, I think the highest that I'm expecting Lewis Woods to be naturally is third, which is where he started this race. Now, I think if there was a little less chaos on the opening lap, he had the potential to maybe jump even higher than that. Kyle Morby in front now of Luca Brooks. Bright yellow of David Haynes also slotted in behind. It's two bright yellow machines, to be fair, so Luca Brooks, the lead one, in front of David Haynes. These all drivers, of course, having jokered. Very close still between Nathan Williams and Oliver Stone. The problem for Williams is he's not in a spot where he can joker and be released into clean air. So he's still trying to make his way past Stone and then put the pedal to the metal. And a great exit up the hill and slots himself clear through the left-hander.
Going to the second half of this final now. Lewis Woods still the leading car of those who have taken the joker. But yeah, only a couple of seconds really to be gained back from that. Another taker to the joker then is Oliver Stone, who just drops back into 6th place. His joker then done, so Lewis Woods moves up a position. Carroll increasing the lead at the front though. He's over 2.5 seconds now, make it up to 2 3/4 of a second ahead of Charlie Devlin, who's actually losing time on the timing screen at the moment, but does cut back a little bit. But yeah, Carroll pulling away at the front of the field.
Great pace shown. Meanwhile for Williams, if he jokers, he'll drop in between Woods and Stone. He doesn't joker, instead Charlie Devlin does. He'll be in front of Noah Balderston. It will be close. And in fact, as Balderston's going to have him, Woods will as well. Oh, but it's a neck and neck as they jumped back onto the tarmac through the left-hander. Some great racing now, and this is exactly what Nathan Williams needs, because this will give him a chance to use the next 3 laps remaining, build up a bit more buffer, try and use that joker to his advantage. Now as Balderston is going to end up dropping down to 6th, I would think, at the very highest, with 2 laps left to go.
That was a disaster for Lewis Woods there. Just came out behind at the very wrong moment, behind the 23 of Charlie Devlin, and just lost so much time in those couple of corners, and that could really compromise his overall result now. Going to be lucky to get onto the podium, I would say, and Osbaldeston, you're right, Arjuna, can take the joker at the last possible moment, which it looks like Graham Carroll and Nathan Williams are going to do exactly the same thing and try and solidify the position. So are those drivers who have left their joker late, are they going to be the ones who come out on top?
Graham Carroll should see the gold light up on the left as the white flag flies. 1 lap left to go. Where does Nathan Williams end up dropping into? That's really the question. Behind him as Balderston will follow. There goes Devlin. Williams in front of Lewis Woods. Oh, that's frustration. Woods, the early joker, just not paying dividends, but the contrast between endurance racing and the rallycross racing. Your decisions, you get immediate feedback from them as to whether they were correct or not. Fight for second might continue to rumble as up the hill, Graham Carroll, 2nd race win this season. Ben Langford down the order. Graham Carroll responds at hell.
Fantastic response there, you're right. And, well, a total disaster for Ben Langford. A big drop in points here in hell. It has been hellish for him. And Lewis Woods only 4th place. So you're going to think that that is one very unhappy driver right now, Ben Langford, unfortunately.
And you can understand why. No real fault of his own. Just a little bit wide in the heat race down the hill. And that one moment really led to the night going downhill from there. Big impacts, of course, to the championship, but contrast of emotion, elation on one side for Graham Carroll, our winner, who surely now restored to the points lead. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams complete the podium with Lewis Woods, Oliver Stone, Noah Balderston Carl Morby, Stanley Rolfe, Luca Brooks, and Louis Johnson, your top 10. 11th for Austin Michael Jones. 12th for Ryan Stringer, with Ben Langford, David Haynes, and just Leo Brown. Unfortunately, unable to finish this race. It's not been the easiest of seasons for him by any means. One driver who bounces back quite nicely, though, after 2 rounds where by no means pace was the issue, just maybe luck not quite on his side. Graham Carroll, race winner once again with Peter Mackay.
Graham, that's a lot more like it. A second win of the season. It looks like you're going to be back in the lead of the championship. How are you feeling?
Buzzing. It's really happy again to be at the top after like round 1. It's been a bit of a an interesting few rounds the last Barcelona and the one before, you know, a couple of wee things out of my control going wrong that it just put me on the back foot, right? And it's very hard to, once you're on the back foot here, to sort of make your way forward. So honestly, I think second was like the best starting spot today for some strange reason. I got the jump in the heat, I got the jump in the final, so it worked out.
Tell me how important those 3 qualifying laps have been, because as you rightly say, that it seems that overtaking is difficult. If you're back in the pack, it's big trouble. How much have you focused on the qualifying in your preparation?
Honestly, it's split between both. It's just sort of race runs, a bit of quali, a bit of race, going back between the both of them. But it is, like you say, it's really determined on the quali, and then obviously there's a bit of banging and barging at turn 1 that you can kind of maybe sneak through. But the quali is such a tricky part as well. Like, you've seen guys today leave the session and go out and start practicing in like their test weather because the conditions were different as well. So everyone's got their own little tactics, and yeah, I lost a couple of tenths on my quali lap, but it put me pole, right? But it's all ifs and buts, and I feel like I'm doing really good until I hit a dirt corner, and that seems to be my problem, you know. So I'm still learning, but yeah, happy to be back on top, and a good evening.
Yeah, it certainly was. Congratulations on the win, Graham, and 2 rounds to go. It's going to be some finish to the season. Well done.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Let's catch up with Charlie Devlin, second place finish. Charlie, really interesting start, opening lap of the race. Talk us through that from your perspective. What did you see on the opening lap?
It was just absolute chaos, to be honest. I'm not really sure what happened, to be honest. I think Graham didn't get it into the corner slowly, because there's absolutely no grip on the outside. He obviously had to slow down to make the corner. I don't think Noah was obviously expecting that, and then Ben came in. I got hit from behind by my teammate, actually, which wasn't ideal. But yeah, I kind of got through that in the best way that I could have. I knew that I wasn't going to catch Graham or anything, because he was absolutely gone up the road. So yeah, I kind of just, after that one incident, I had to play my own race, Joker when I thought was best, and it worked out as well as it could have done, really, so I'm happy.
One thing Graham told us was that he really still struggling a bit when he gets onto the dirt. Seems like he loves the tarmac, not so much a fan of the dirt. What are your opinions, your thoughts, are now halfway through this Cross Car Esports Cup?
I enjoy driving the car. I think it's a good championship. Yeah, the dirt definitely plays a big part, especially at tracks like this where you go from very, very grippy tarmac to very deep, almost mud. So if you're kind of offline, if you're not clipping the curb or anything, you're losing up to half a second a corner on whoever's around you. So it's absolutely key to be consistent as ever in motorsport. Yeah, enjoying it so far.
Well, thanks, Charlie, for the time. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks as we make our way to Daytona.
Thank you.
Nathan Williams coming home with a great result today. Nathan, it looked pretty chaotic out there. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, obviously, starting from the very back, it was a very hard weight race. I didn't have the hopes to get anywhere near that sort of podiums, all I could really hope for.
And hell is such a tricky circuit. It's got lots of elevation change, lots going on about there. How did you find it out there today on that track?
It was nearly impossible to overtake, so to come from the back, obviously my heat 1 wasn't great, and then I think I just got very fortunate with a big crash in the final lap, on the first lap of the final.
Whereabouts were you when it all kicked off in the final? Was it all happening behind you, or did you have to kind of cut your way through?
It very much happened right in front of me. I think I just managed to sort of just go to the right of the cars ahead as they stopped and just get my way past.
Nevertheless, though, a podium, a brilliant result coming through the field. Well done on that position, and good luck next time out at Daytona.
Thank you.
And a nice effort from Williams to bounce back there as well. But Peter mentioned off to the world center of racing, and in a way that, Peter, is slightly unfamiliar to you and I, given our experience at the Rolex 24. But I get to break out the yellow pen again. Always. Oh no, it doesn't work on this screen. Never mind. You start through the International Horseshoe. Got that final complex that leads you onto the jump. Then a long sweeping section off camera right now. Should be a fun place for us to go racing, but again, with a week off, our drivers get the opportunity to relax and enjoy some time doing some other things for a week at least.
Or, if you're willing to put the time in, put that last bit of preparation in. It's a big prize at the end of the season with just 2 rounds left, all to play for. And I think for Ben Langford, he'll be determined to come back at Daytona and try and avenge this day today, because the heat didn't really go to plan, and neither did the final.
Problem is, in this sort of racing, it's not all at your own control. Never is in motorsports, that's the truth, but close contact and close quarters racing, such is the way of these cross cars. But now 4 rounds in the books of the Motorsports UK Cross Car Esports Cup. Graham Carroll back on top in the championship hunt. But lots still left to play for as we make our way into the final 2 rounds of the season. Peter Mackay alongside of myself, Arjuna Kankipati. Thanks so much for joining us. Can't wait to see how this season wraps off. Plenty of drama here at Circuit Hell Lankenbannen to see us into the final 2 rounds of the season.